Good morning, America.
Recently, we have made an insane discovery.
It may very well be able to live on Mars, and here is why. Mars is a dusty, cold desert planet with a very thin atmosphere. Mars has seasons, polar ice caps, weather, canyons, and extinct volcanoes. Mars is the only planet where we've sent rovers to roam the alien landscape. Mars has two moons named Phobos and Deimos. Mars is also known as the Red Planet because iron minerals in the Martian soil oxidize or rust. This causes the soil and atmosphere to look red. Mars's surface cannot support life as we know it quite yet. On Mars, the gravity is 30% of Earth's gravity. If we were to live on another planet, though, Mars would be the only one that we could possibly survive on. In order to live on Mars, our species as human beings would probably have to evolve a little bit. Right now, we are in our fourth wave of innovation, which includes artificial intelligence, biotech, and nanotech. This will help us with viewing and possibly living on Mars. Both Musk and NASA are focused on Mars as the next challenge. Mars is one of the only planets that can sustain life, that we could go on a trip without dying. Mars is 70 degrees Fahrenheit, or as low as about negative 225 degrees Fahrenheit.
Mars has good soil for planting crops and is very possible to live on. The soil has excess water that we can use for drinking or other quote-unquote things. It's not too hot, but it gets very cold, so what would happen if we were to live on Mars? Would we have to build a quote-unquote dome-like structure to make it like the Earth? And it's just very similar to the Earth in distance away from the sun and how it is shaped and revolves. The days are about the same time, same with the nights. And through our research, NASA has something to say about its goal to get to Mars. NASA has 3 spacecraft in orbit and 1 rover and 1 lander on the surface and another rover under construction here on Earth. The current missions are determining Mars's past and future potential of life. NASA's latest robotic mission to the Red Planet, Mars 2020, aims to help astronauts brave that inhospitable landscape. This science goal of the Mars 2020 rover is to look at signs of ancient life. It will be the first spacecraft to collect samples of Martian surface, catching them in tubes and returning them to Earth on a future mission. NASA says sustainable trip to Mars in 2030.
It may also be possible to live on other planets that aren't Mars. For example, scientists announced last Thursday the discovery of 3 planets that are some of the best candidates for habitable worlds outside of our own solar system. NASA's satellite, which is keeping an eye on more than 150,000 stars, searched for 2 planets that are called Kepler 62e and Kepler 62f. They are described in a study released on last Thursday in the journal Science. They are part of a 5-planet solar system in which they are the best candidates for life. Their host star, which corresponds to the Earth's sun, is smaller and cooler than our sun. It's called the name Kepler 62. The 3rd planet that's potentially habitable is called Kepler 69c. A study about it and its system is published in the Astrophysical Journal. The planet is not included in the science study. These planets are the smallest planets ever found in the habitable zone. Kepler 69c seems less clearly in the habitable zone than the other 2 planets. The Kepler 62 star is 1,200 light years away. So these are not really that realistic because it would take a lot of years to get
And we cannot reproduce in space that we know of yet.
Yeah. And then Kepler 69 is 2,700 light years away. The Kepler telescope which was launched in 2009, allows scientists to measure changes in brightness of individual stars over these time dimming events signal that a planet is nearby. 62 Kepler F, thought to be 40% larger than Earth, is potentially the most like our planet out of the new discoveries. It could be rock with polar caps, landmass, and water as well. It goes around its star every 267.3 days. If you were standing on Kepler 62F, the stars in the sky would look bigger than our sun does. Kepler 62e appears to be 60% larger than our planet and a little closer to its host star. This one could be mostly made of deep oceans. It circles its star every 122.4 days.
There are some problems on why we might not be able to live on Mars, such as other planets will run out of things with pollution as we are on Earth. In February of 2017, NASA announced they discovered 7 Earth-like planets 39 light years away in a solar system called TRAPPIST-1. It would take 6 million years to get there, and
this relates back to what I was saying before about different planets besides Mars taking a really long time to get there.
And the problem with Mars is that it would take 9 months just to get to Mars, and then you have to wait a few months for the planets to realign, and then another 9 months to come back. Mars is frozen, so we're going to have to heat up the surface, which is called terraforming. Another problem is deep space travel is that may take hundreds of light years to reach your destination. You suggest defreezing astronauts, then thawing them out later at the other end, which is a possibility, but would take a lot of expertise, and we do not have the time to train all of these astronauts. Only other planet that could possibly sustain life would be Mars, and it could be possible to make babies in space and sustain their life.
But as we were saying before, this is one thing that we are not sure about, but it could very well be possible.
We would have to adapt unless we built a dome-like structure on Mars due to how cold it could get.
Like we were saying before.
The human body system is known to adapt, but it would take millions of generations most likely to live on Mars if we adapt the way we normally do.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching our presentation. We hope you enjoyed.